Alright, for this lesson we are continuing on with circles. In this particular practice we are going to be talking about the radius, the diameter, and how to solve for either one. So a circle, if you don't remember, is a set of points in a plane that are the same distance from a point called the center. You can see here in the diagram we have a dot in the middle called the center. Let me use my yellow marker. There it is. And the circle rotates around that dot equal distance from each. The radius is what you would see from that center point to the edge of the circle. Okay, and it's anywhere along this. Okay, that would be considered the radius. Anywhere that goes across from the center to the edge of the circle. The diameter is the entire width of the circle, and it can be, again, any, but it has to go through that center dot. Okay? It can be any one of those. That's called the diameter. Make sure you're writing this in your journals. For the radius, let's read this together. The diameter of a circle is twice the radius of r. The radius of a circle is 1/2 the diameter. So therefore you can get two different equations. I can solve for the diameter if I know the radius. I would just multiply the radius times 2. I can solve for the radius if I know the diameter. I just take the diameter and divide it by 2. So you're going to use these two equations to solve. So let's do example 1. We're on page 261A. So we're just going to do A first. The diameter of a circle is 12 feet. Find the radius. So the equation we're going to use is the radius equation, where you plug in the diameter and divide it by 2. So we know the diameter is 12, so we plug in 12 where the D is. And then we have 12 divided by 2 to solve for R, which equals 6. So the radius of this circle is 6 feet. Make sure you label that 6 with a feet. Okay, so now let's look at B. The radius of a circle is 8 meters. Find the diameter. So now we have the radius and we're looking for diameter. So we're going to use our diameter equation. The diameter is 2 times the radius. So we're going to take that radius, which is 8, and plug it in where the R is. We have 2 times 8, which is 16. So the diameter of this circle is 16 meters. Make sure you label meters because this is measurements. All right. If you want to pause this video and do practice number 1 and 2, you can, or you can wait and do it at the very end. So now let's go over their circumference. Think of the circumference as the outside of the circle, kind of like where you find the perimeter. You know how you find the perimeter of a square or a rectangle? Circumference is the word we use for perimeter of a circle. The distance around that circle is called a circumference. Now, Aristotle, who made all this up, coined the circumference. You can find the ratio, circumference over diameter. It's the same for every single circle. And this is what he came up with, pi. So the ratio of every single circle's circumference compared to their diameter is 3.14. Now it's this huge number. We round it to 3.14. You can also use the fraction 22/7. That's less used. Usually you're going to see that people use 3.14. Okay, so here again we have the circle, and you can see that they have the diameter there in green, and they have the radius there in red. But you see now they've labeled the circle with the letter C, meaning the circumference all the way around is used using the letter C. So our two equations are, to find circumference, we would do pi times the diameter. Or if you don't know the diameter, you can say circumference equals 2 times pi times r, because remember, 2 r's equal the same as 1 diameter. So if you do 2 times pi times r, it doesn't really matter what order you multiply those, you would still get the same equation. Okay, so this is to find the perimeter, or the circumference. I need to use circumference, that's a better word. Use circumference for all the way around the circle. Now if I wanted to find the area, which is everything in the circle, the shaded section, I would use the equation of a circle, area equals pi times r squared. Now this one in this case does have to use the letter r. So if in the measurements they give you the diameter, you just divide it by 2, the diameter, and then you plug it in because that's what your r would equal. Alright, so let's try this. Okay, so this is example 2 in your books. Okay, we have a button here. I voted button. And they want you to find the circumference and the area of the sticker. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a sticker. We're using 3.14 for pi. If they don't tell you what to use for pi, use 3.14. If they want you to use the fraction 22/7, they'll tell you. But as a general rule, use 3.14. All right, so you can see here they have on the left, they have a measurement, 3 centimeters. And you can see that this is, oh, hold on, my example's not working. Okay, there, got it going. You can see here that we have our circumference equation. C equals 2 times pi times a radius. Now in this case, does it tell us the radius? Yes, the radius is 3 because it's half of that circle. So you would plug that in where the r is. 2 times, we're using 3.14 for pi, times 3. So you multiply those on a calculator, and you're going to get 18.84. Now, if you get longer than 2 decimals, normally you can round it to 2 decimals. So the circumference of this sticker is 18.84 centimeters. Make sure you label it. Now let's look at the area of this sticker. Again, we're going to use the equation area equals pi r squared. Make sure you have these equations in your journal so you can use them on the test. Pi r squared, so we're going to plug in 3.14 where the pi is, and our radius was 3, and we're going to square it. Remember, when you square a number, it's the number times itself, however many times the exponent is. So in this case, it would be 3 times 3, which would be 9, and then you multiply that times 3.14, and you get 28.26. So the area of the sticker is approximately 28.26 square centimeters. Okay, now you can also write that as 28.26 centimeters squared. Still gives you the same answer, but if you want to write square centimeters, that's fine too. So again, you can write 18.8, and I don't mind if you abbreviate. This example is really nice and types it all out for me, so I don't have to do that. Okay, so this is essentially your lesson. You're just finding, first you're finding diameter and radius on numbers 1 and 2, and then for numbers 3 through 6, you're finding their circumference or the area of an object. In fact, 3, 4, and 5, you have to find both. So each of those questions are worth 4 points each, because you have to find the area and the circumference. Don't forget to do both. And then for number 6, make sure you answer A and B. All right, let me know if you have any questions.